Hi guys, Blake here with Lilley's Landing Resort and Marina on April the 18th of 2020. It's about 4 o'clock in the afternoon and this is the one cast. Today I have boated up. I'm on the shallow side, just a little bit down from Fall Creek Marina's dock. There's a little row of docks that come along here, and then there's this last one, and then there's a big stretch of open eddy water. Today I'm going to be throwing my Temple Fork 9-foot 5-weight rod. It has matching 5-weight floating line. I can't remember which Rio line this is. I've got about 12 foot of leader total so that I can change the depth as we go down. Today I'm going to be throwing a 1/32 ounce white jig underneath a float, and I always, whenever I'm fly fishing, I like to use the smallest float as possible, but when you're floating a jig that big, you got to use a big float. Yesterday Phil and I went up to the dam and we were using this method. I was using this specific one and he was using a double 1/32 ounce rig, tandem, under an even bigger cork. And we caught some fish. However, we didn't realize that one of the mic batteries was almost dead. So we drifted from the cable all the way down to Short Creek, even a little bit past Short Creek. And the farther down we got, the better, and this is about where it started getting pretty good, right in this area. So I'm going to start the video here today, and we're going to try to repeat the results. They are still running 15,000 cubic feet per second, 2 floodgates, 4 generators. I've got that jig at about 8 foot underneath the indicator right now, which in this area, depending on how close I cast to the bank, it might drag the bottom a little bit. That's okay. A lot of the time when you're fly fishing, you want to have it just nicking the bottom, or just right off the bottom. There's a fish, and that is a fish on the one cast, which I have not managed to pull off in a while. But a lot of the time, whenever you're fly fishing, especially drifting in a boat, you want that your flies to just kind of barely be nicking the bottom. You'll see it kind of pulling your indicator a little bit. So another thing we realized yesterday while we were doing this method was that moving the bobber, the cork around, getting that jig a little extra motion seemed to improve the bite. So I'm going to be doing a lot of mending and wiggling the indicator around just to give that jig a little extra action. It's important to note that when you're doing this, you want to keep your boat and your indicator drifting at the same speed as the current, or else your line will go this way really far or this way really far, and it won't, there's another one, and it won't drag the bottom very well. This fly rig setup, rod and reel, a little small, especially for some of the size of the trout that are in here and that could bite on. So you could go a little heavier, 6 weight, 7 weight. And I'm using a 5X tippet for my leader, which you have to be pretty careful with. I can't really lift a fish out of the water using that kind of tippet because it will break easily. Fishing reports for today. First off, this is the most boats I've seen on Taneycomo in over a month today. We had steady traffic going by the dock all day. I'd reckon in the range of 15, 20 boats maybe, which is, I mean, usually the most we're seeing at any given point is, you know, 3 to 5 boats. So beautiful, beautiful Saturday afternoon, and people are out enjoying it. Good to see. So fishing reports. Captain Steve Dickey and Captain Rick Lysick both had trips today. They both came back to the dock. Ooh, there was one with full nets of fish. And they reported that I think they were drifting the same area that I'm kind of drifting in right now from, you know, Fall Creek down to Short Creek. And they were using the pink power bait and pink power worms. They said both were very effective and they caught a lot of fish. I don't have any other fishing reports other than that. But I do know that I've seen a lot of boats on the water, and I've seen quite a few repeating drifts out in front of our dock. And just about every time I saw somebody drifting in front of the dock, somebody on the boat was reeling in a fish usually. So I'd say the fishing's pretty good all the way around. And today I'm just gonna keep on drifting. We're gonna drift down along the bluff side. I don't know if I'll make it all the way back to our dock, but we're gonna drift the bluff side down towards the dock and see if there's any more of these fish that are sitting in the edge of the banks waiting for shad to drift by. It is interesting to note that we're catching them on the white. It seems better the farther you go down. So to me that means that the shad that did come through are more going towards the other end of the lake now. So if you're out here fishing, the white seems to be working better the farther you go down. I need to decide how much leader I just lost there, because we are coming up where I'll be fishing the bluff side and I'll need that extra line. And it looks like I got less than the length of my fly rod, which I know is 9 foot, so we are going to need to add. I wish I had some extra fly rods to bring with me today so I wouldn't have to do all this, but I'm gonna add an extra extra 4 foot or so. I think this knot I'm about to tie, and I feel bad for not remembering the name of it right now. It's called a double surgeon. So I take about 8 to 10 inches of each line, the line running off my fly rod and the line that I just clipped. I run them over the top of each other, overlapping. Okay, you can wet them together to make them stick together. Take your thumb, make one loop in the line, and you're going to pull both tag ends through your loop and then pull it tight. Okay, and then you're going to do right where that knot happened, you're going to make another loop. You're going to pull both tag ends through and you're going to tighten it down right over the top of that other knot. Cut away your excess on either end, and then you have the double surgeon, I believe is what it's called, and it's a very strong knot to bring two ends of line together. One thing to note, if you're doing that knot, you cannot mix lines that are too far apart in diameter. They won't go together right, so they have to be a certain diameter apart from each other. And I brought a handful of 1/32 ounce jigs with me, and I can't find them. I'm guessing somehow that they all blew off the dash when I was driving up, and I guess I didn't notice. However, I've seen that Phil had some extra 1/50th ounce white jigs on the boat, which is handy. Now, what I'm gonna have to do, because it's not a 1/32 ounce jig, is I'm gonna have to use a split shot about a foot above this jig in order to get it to sink down like the 1/32 ounce jig was floating down. Sometimes tying this tippet can be a pain. Finally got that in the water, and now I need some split shot. This split shot is a 0.6 gram split shot, which I don't know what that turns out to be in ounce weight, but I think it'll be just right. So I've got that split shot about a foot above the line, and now I'm working at about 12 foot deep. One thing that's tricky when you're throwing this much leader is if you do hook into a fish and you're getting it up to the boat and your rod's only 9 foot long, it makes it kind of tricky to get to the fish, especially if you're by yourself and you don't have someone to help net. But if you're, if you're looking to catch a fish on a fly rod versus other methods, this white jig is catching some fish. Not putting the hammer down on them, but just about any fish is fun to reel in on a fly rod. Alright guys, I think I'm gonna call it a day here. If I find any more fish, I will turn the video back on and we'll add it to the credits. We thank you guys for watching, If you haven't liked our Facebook page, like and share. And if you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel, press the subscribe button and then the little bell next to it. And that'll alert you whenever the one cast is posted there. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll do it again tomorrow.